What's going on, YouTube? Back again with another video, and yep, you guessed it. We're back here again talking LG software updates because, well, that's just what LG does, right? Push out software updates every 5 seconds, it seems like. But today's video is going to be a little bit different, so stick around. So today's video is going to be a little bit different because, well, we're talking about LG software updates for a display that I don't have yet. So the LG software update in question is going to be software version 03.10.31, and that is actually tied specifically to the C4. And this is a little bit different coming from LG because typically what they do is they tie a software update or a version number to both a C series and a G series model at the same time. Whereas I notice on this, for the C4, it's tied specifically to the C4. And this means they're going to have a firmware update specifically tied to the G4 as well. So what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that the hardware and the software is now getting further and further apart, that they have to separate firmware updates between the two models now? I'm not really sure, but I do find that intriguing. But so normally in these videos, what the next step would be if this was an update for, let's say, a C3 or a C2 or something along those lines, I would go ahead and either check my display to see if the update's been pushed over the air, or I'd go ahead and load in the software update onto a USB drive and then manually update the display. And the reason why I do that step in these videos is because there are times where, especially if you're manually updating the display, that you may encounter problems along the way. And I go ahead and take that risk of installing these updates as quick as I can, and especially taking a risk when updating them manually. Whatever errors or problems I encounter, I want to put them in the video so that you know what you're up against if you're going to do the same process. So anyhow, unfortunately, I'm not able to do that here in this video because, well, I don't have a C4 or a G4 yet. So next step from here, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about what comes with software update 03.10.31. Welcome back. Long time no talk. Anyway, all right, before I dive into what all comes with software update 03.10.31, I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, I had to reposition my camera because there's so much screen. And that's a good thing because that lets you know there's actually features coming with this update. Number two, there's one thing that I have omitted that in my most recent videos that I have included on these update videos, which is that once you install one of these software updates, you better well be committed to doing that update because unfortunately you cannot go backwards. You can't uninstall that update. So that's partly why I do these videos, to at least, if I can't demonstrate all the new features or things they changed with an update, I can at least let you know what generally comes with the update. That helps keep you informed as far as making a decision whether you want to install the update. But once you do, you can't go backwards. That's not listed here, but I just wanted to put that out there. All right, let's dig in because I have a lot to cover here. Number one, just right out of the gate, LG, you're coming with improvement. I mean, isn't that fantastic? You just straight up let us know, hey, improvement. We improved something. You know, not going to tell you what's improved, but they're claiming that they improved something, so we're going to take their word for it, I guess. Next, wider range of gamepads now supported. Now, I don't know. I've never personally utilized the built-in game feature on the display. Whenever I do my gaming, I'm gaming on console, PS5, Xbox Series X. Probably a lot of you out there game on PC. Leave me a comment below if any of you actually utilized any sort of cloud gaming service on the display itself. I know Samsung's have something similar. It seems like most of the displays now are trying to incorporate these cloud gaming structures to their displays. That way you can be console free. You don't have to have anything hooked up or anything. You can just play. I'd be curious to know, what's your experience doing that? Me personally, not real interested in it because you better have the best internet of all time or else there has to be dropouts and things like that. But anyhow, that's not what this this video is about. What I wanted to talk about and mention here is it says wider range of gamepads now supported. By gamepads, I would assume they mean game controllers. And if they meant game controllers, why the hell didn't you just say controllers? So maybe it wasn't controllers. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. The next one is intriguing to me, unlike the first two. The next one is Multiview Improve. Now, if you're not new to my channel, you've seen me about this in the past a little bit, because while I love the idea and the theory and the thought around Multiview, it's just not executed very well in my opinion for LG displays. So if they really improved Multiview and it now functions the way that I feel would be beneficial, let me take a brief moment to talk to you about what I mean by that. So for me, a well-functioning multi-views feature that I would consider a real benefit and a real feature would be one where you could have, for example, a PlayStation 5 on one input and an Apple TV 4K on another. And think of it like YouTube TV Multiview, where you have multiple boxes on the screen, multiple different types of content going. You can have you can have multiple games going at the same time, NBA, NFL, whatever. And all you have to do is just toggle a button onto that particular square to get audio out of that one. For me, a well executed multi-view function would be one where I can have PlayStation 5 and Apple TV 4K on another input. And on the Apple TV 4K, I can have the ball game going where it's not really necessary to have sound, but I have sound set up to come through the PlayStation 5 side so that I can be playing my game. But then right next to it, if somebody scores a touchdown, I can see it in real time as far as the broadcast goes. Whereas right now, it's not set up that way up until this point. So my hope when they say multi-view is improved is that's the functionality they have brought to it. And if it has, that really gets me more excited about moving to a C4 or a G4. But that remains to be seen. If you know the answer to that and you have a C4 or a G4, put it in the comments section because I want to know about it. Next, you can search/play content on your LG TV without registering an Amazon Alexa. So if you're somebody who's all about having that, your whole house is connected with Alexa or whatever version you use, bravo to you. This one's specifically about that. So it looks like you can actually set this up without registering an external device. I'd be curious to see how that works. So leave me a comment if that interests you and if you have this working properly. Next, Google Photos, now available on Always Ready. So I think this is a nice little feature add. The Always Ready feature essentially is just the display showing a black screen, you might say. That way when you hit a button, it just immediately turns back on. I actually have disabled this feature. I'd rather the display turn completely off, but it looks like you can now incorporate Google Photos to be able to display on the screen in an always ready mode. So that'd be an interesting little feature. I'd like to check that out. Next, ThinQ or Think? Comment below which one it is. ThinQ/Think routine added to the Home Hub. I'm going to leave that one there. Next, personalized recent list for each account. So if you are somebody who registers multiple accounts per display, maybe one for yourself, and you have small children or something, and you're going to have different profiles, looks like you kind of personalize the recent list based on whoever's logged in. Next, closed caption position automatically adjusted for optimal viewing. Okay, that's interesting. So in other words, if you utilize the closed caption functionality on your display and that's helpful to you, and I believe it could be a helpful feature to most of us, considering if you're watching content where somebody talks extremely fast and you don't want to keep rewinding to pick up what they're saying, it'll be down there for you to be able to read. That's something that I utilize every now and then, depending on the content I'm watching. But it looks like it's automatically adjusted to optimize your viewing experience instead of blocking stuff out. So wish I had a C4 or a G4 to test that one out. Anyway, next up, providing personalized recommendation feature via Voice ID. Okay. And then last listed here, you can use Mobilecast feature without Chromecast dongle. What are your feelings about using dongles? I'm gonna leave that one there. But it looks like you can set up Mobilecast now without actually utilizing a Chromecast, so that's pretty cool. More comments in the comments section if that applies to you. Me personally, I don't use that sort of functionality on my displays, but I could see the benefit in it. So as we're approaching late May 2024 and you have not purchased a C4 or a G4 yet, this software update I'm talking about in this video may not be either already on the TV or the one that actually installs when it lets you know that there's a new update available. There's actually a newer update available that came out after this, which I will talk about in another video. So just wanted to mention that before I signed off here, but that's going to do it for this video. As always, I appreciate you watching my videos. It means a lot to me. I appreciate you taking the time to watch them. And if you did enjoy the content, hit the like button, really helps me out. And of course, if you're new here, consider hitting subscribe. And of course, consider hitting the bell notification so you don't miss my future uploads. You know what I'm going to say next if you watch my videos. But with all that being said, until the next one.